So the other day I was at Best Buy looking for a new camera. And so I was looking around in the DSLR section for the Canon cameras. And one of the newer versions, the Rebel T5i, caught my attention because I've had experience with the other T versions, like the T3i. So one thing that sort of irritates me about Best Buy now is that the models they do have are kind of limited in their capacity of what you can, practice with. But that's not what this main video is about. What the main video is about is what happens soon. So I'm checking out the T5i and I noticed this symbol on the back of the T5i right above the monitor screen to the top right. It's a little button and it has a camera symbol on it. Part of it's black, part of it's white, right next to a red dot. Now, I've had experiences with Canon DSLRs before, but the experience I've had is with cameras that have a switch that you can toggle between a camera symbol that looks just like that one and another camera symbol that looks more like a regular film camera. It's in red and it's a little tripod along with it, that symbol. So I was kind of confused about that. I wasn't really sure what that was supposed to mean now because does the Canon T5i record video or does it not? I can't tell. I'm not sure. I don't know what that symbol means for a Canon T5i. I don't know how it works. I'm used to other models that have the switch where you can toggle between the camera. I'm used to other models where you can toggle between a film option and a photo shooting option. If you're familiar with some of the Canon DSLRs, there's a little switch where you can switch between photo shooting, which is the same symbol. The shooting photos for certain cameras on certain Canon cameras is the same as the symbol on the Canon T5i, and on the Canon T5i it doesn't have a film camera symbol, where on certain cameras like a Canon 7D it does. So if you can understand now, I was confused because of that, because I was like, so wait, can this record video or not? And so I asked a guy at the Best Buy store who works for Canon, excuse me, what does this button mean right here? I pointed to the button on the Canon T5i that was the camera symbol with the little red dot right next to it. And try to guess what he told me. Guess. He told me, I don't know, or I'm not sure. How in the world can you not be certain of that? I mean, how? You work for Canon. You're representing Canon. You're wearing a polo shirt of their company. You're supposed to be the guy who I can go to, or you should be the guy I should be able to go to. Aside from the Best Buy employees, in fact, you should be more reliable than the Best Buy employees, since you are a representative of Canon. But somehow you don't know this? I don't understand that. I don't understand why Canon would employ people at Best Buys who don't know basic functions of their products. That doesn't seem to make much sense. Maybe he's there for a different purpose, but if I was in charge of Canon, I would say, hey, if you're going to work at Best Buy, we got people representing us, but they also got to be able to know how to handle these products. And so people are confused, or if they have questions, they can go to not just to the Best Buy employees, but also to them. So yeah, and the reason again is because I went to him is because I'm not used to these kind of DSLR models where it's only one button, aside from the different models that have the toggle switches. So, like a Canon 7D, a Canon T5i doesn't have that. A Canon T5i just has the camera symbol with a little red dot right next to it, and I don't know what that means exactly. I mean, so does that mean I can shoot video? I don't know. I'm assuming maybe I can, because with the other Canon Rebel cameras, I was able to shoot video. So why can I shoot video with this one? But I'm the kind of person who just likes to check, especially when you're paying a ton of money for a camera. Don't you want to be certain? If you don't know for sure, I mean, if you knew for sure, then yeah. But I didn't know for sure, certain. So there's a Canon guy right there who represents Canon. I thought that's the perfect guy I should ask, because wouldn't he know But apparently he doesn't. I'm still thinking about how Canon could employ someone that doesn't even know basic functions of a camera. They should also be able to know the inner workings of each camera, or maybe, but basic functions should, yes, definitely. They should definitely have that down. I think so anyway. So yeah, I mean, heck, even I might even know more about Canon DSLR cameras than he does. Hey Canon, why don't you employ me at a Best Buy? I would like to have a job. I would not mind having a job from Canon. I mean, you guys make great cameras. You know, I love some of your cameras. Give me a job, please. But that's probably not going to happen. But yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, if I was in charge of Canon and I was hiring people to work at a Best Buy or at another retail store and represent Canon, I would make sure they know the products inside and out. Aside from other kind of things that needed to be dealt with, probably like shipping details that I can't fully explain right now. You know, at least be able to know the inner workings of the cameras. And because they didn't even know the inner workings of the cameras, I'm still flabbergasted by that. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not realizing something. Maybe there's something that Canon does differently. The reason why they do something like that, I don't know. I just think they should be able to do that. So yeah, maybe in the future, Canon, if someone from the headquarters or someone from the hierarchs listens to this podcast on Canon, perhaps it's a good idea, just some friendly advice or suggestions or recommendations that people you employ at Best Buy to represent your company know what they're talking about, know what they're doing when it comes to DSLRs and other types of Canon cameras. Because why not? I mean, if anything, they should be the experts, in my opinion at least. I'm not saying the Best Buy people can't be experts, but this guy from Canon, he should know what he's talking about. So yeah, that's all for this video. I've gone on long enough as it is already, and I'm kind of curious if anyone else has had any experiences like this. Also, for the Canon T5i, since I'm still talking, what exactly does that button do, people, for the Canon T5i? And if it's to shoot video, then how do you get it to switch to photos? And if it's to shoot photos and you can't shoot video on a Canon T5i, which I'm assuming you can, because I've done shooting on the other Rebel cameras. But how do you do that? You know, I'm not really certain because I'm not used to that model. So if you can tell me, that would be great. I'm not trying to diss Canon. I like Canon. I think they're cool. I just think they should, consider this when it comes to hiring people to represent their company at different places or stores. And that's all I have, people. Enjoy the rest of your days or your nights, whatever time you're listening to this at, and take care. So I'm gonna add in this update into the podcast, or I might edit it into like the original track. But I'm probably gonna just leave it the way it is, like this, like an update basically. So I talked to the guy. I talked to the Canon representative. I told him, I don't want to be. I'm not trying to be mean or anything like that. I just want to give you some suggestions. I think you should learn these cameras because someone here who has a temper could come in here and just start like could just they could start yelling a lot. Is what I'm trying to say, and cause a scene. And he agreed. He agreed. He actually contacted Canon that the day I told him, like I asked him that question. Apparently, according to him, Canon never gave him any instructions, never gave him any practice or training for the cameras. Apparently, Canon only gave him uh, practice and instructions for their printers, which I find very odd. So, based on what he said, the finger has to for the most part be pointed at Canon itself. Which in that case, if that's true, all I gotta say is Canon. What are you guys doing? That's crazy. You shouldn't be doing that. You gotta look into that somehow. You gotta find out what's going on there because that's not good. That's not a good thing at all. I mean, again, that's sort of like No. That's not sort of. It is bad. It is bad when you have your own employee at a Best Buy store who doesn't even know the Canon cameras. So yeah, I mean, that any representative from Canon that works at a Best Buy should know all the Canon products there, regardless of what they are, printers or cameras or something else. They should know. So I talked to him and he said that they just gave him PowerPoint presentations and they gave him instructions and training just for the printers, which I again find just very odd. So Canon Corp, if this is true, you guys should check into that. You should check that over. Apparently, he told me that he emailed them again at the same time. So yeah, just I wanted to make an update to that. I want to make an update to this podcast to let people know that I did talk to the person, and he agreed, and he's actually going to try to do some of his own spare training time so that he can learn the cameras better. Because again, something like that, should not be happening. Canon should be able to do that correctly. Why are you going to have a representative from Canon at Best Buy if he doesn't even know some of the products that well? That's not going to look good for you guys, sending in people who don't know their own products or their own working for their own products. So yeah, just wanted to make that an update, and that's all. So yeah, hopefully I don't have to come across an issue like that again, and hopefully if Canon, if the head of Canon or the head of the training department did some kind of issue or mistake, then hopefully they correct it and they avoid it as much as possible in the future. Because again, that's just basically it's embarrassing, and it's frustrating to the customers when they go to the Canon guy because they're assuming that he's the expert, he's the one that's going to know, but he doesn't know. It's like that's not good, of course. So yeah, I'm done with this. Hopefully, it doesn't have to happen again to anyone else, and that's all. Bye bye.